Hey leaders, thank you for teaching this week, July 16th. We are starting a new series with Pastor Mark, Those Who Found. And so these are my favorite kind to teach with the kids. They're the character studies. So it'll actually be, I believe, 5 weeks long, but we have 4 weeks of lessons because one is a family service week. We are going to use a set of visuals throughout the entire series that you will also use in the teaching time to complete. So let me just show you what we're doing. This week is Joseph, and we will have hung up. Ta-da. I think that's probably backwards and you can't read it, but that's okay. We will leave these up each week. You will add the new one to the wall. But each week we will go through at the end of the lesson and talk through what were the notable events, meaning what did they give up and what did they find? And were there any other big things that happened? What was their pre-God grade? Like, did they grow up knowing God? If they did, what if they didn't? Like before this major notable event that we're talking about, were they following God or were they not so much? What did it look like? And then a post-God grade. And then mostly because it's fun to grade people, it's judgy and they get report cards. And then what can I learn? What can I take away from this person? From there, what did they give up and what did they find? How does that apply to me? What are their different aspects of this story? So we're going to talk about that. The other, to teach it, we will be using, put the bookmark. So mark your Bibles. You'll have to get there a little bit early to put these in each of the spots in the Bibles, multiple Bibles. And they are numbered right here with the reference, but they also have the text already on it so that they don't actually have to find it in there, just as a way to help speed it up, because they're about 10 each week. Some of them, if you realize this is taking too long, you'll just move into storytelling or reading it yourself and have them read them occasionally, whatever works. Here at Hillside, we are going to pre-mark a single Bible for each of these and have kids pick one up, and whichever number they are, we'll have them read them in order. At Huffman, you may mark 3 or 4 Bibles. You may use some of these, not all of them. You make the decision on what's going to work best for you guys. Also, before everybody gets there, we're going to put these on the floor in order. This makes your timeline. So Joseph, I think I started all of them at 0. We just don't know for all of them what age things started. So you'll have 0 on the floor, and then further down the line, you'll have 17. And then this is the We're Not So Sure, probably a year-ish. This is another one we're not 100% sure. After he's been there a little while, say 5 years or so, whichever, or a little less than that, 28. So you'll have each of your spots and just put them out on the floor, tape them down, as much as you can, space them out so that they can visually see how far these things took. For especially some of these stories these true happenings, these true characters that we read about, and we get confused with, well, it only takes 1 chapter in the Bible, so it must have been like that, when actually it was a lifetime. Things like that. So just helping them get a physical feel for that, but also so that as you're teaching, you can have the reader go to that spot, or maybe your youngest kids will go and they will move on the timeline as you go through. If you have a small enough group, the whole group moves through the timeline, and you might, after you read the text that goes with that age, that specific thing, have them do a freeze frame, body posture kind of deal of what happened in that. So if they work together and it's Joseph's brothers throw him in the well, then some of them are frozen throwing him, and then Joseph's laying on the floor. Might be all of them are Joseph on the floor. Maybe it's you freeze frame what you noticed in that passage. So they're not correlated at all, and that would actually be faster. If they didn't have to discuss, they just did it. But that's the thing we're going to use for physical engagement and keeping things moving, because it's a lot of reading. In none of these do we have activities per se at the end, because our groups right now are small enough that's really hard to split them up for. And the number of passages we're reading each week is just going to take a little while. So if we do this well and we keep them engaged, that won't be a problem. And if you need to come up with an activity for your group because you do finish early, do that. Cool. But what we're pulling out of this is following Mark's theme, our focus for the year, of that they found life when they gave up their life. When they gave up the ability to make the selfish choice and follow their own decisions, and they yielded to God and they chose to follow God, what new life were they given? What was the benefit to them? And so that's what we want to talk about. And the what was their role? What did that look like? What did God call them to? So that's where we're going. So thank you so much for leading this week. And I'm excited to see what God does through this. Thanks, guys.